IVM.
Hello, guys and girls. Welcome back to a brand new episode of the Millennial Athlete with Tanvi and Shlok, a podcast for, of, and by the millennials. Welcome to the Olympic special episode week. In fact, 2 weeks, because we are going to be covering the pinnacle of world sport, which is the Olympics, over the next couple weeks, and super excited because the 88 member Indian team that has left from New Delhi a couple of days ago has arrived safely in Japan, and athletes across badminton, judo, swimming, wrestling, TT have all settled down in the games village. So super excited. I'm your host Tanvi Lad, and Shlok.
Yes, I don't need to say that I'm your co-host, Shlok, because everybody knows me now. So yes, we thought first Olympic special episode of TMA, right? So we start off with obviously badminton because we love badminton so much. So today we are going to give you the preview, the draw preview, and what potential matchups will be. Also, we'll be looking at the Indian angle, the Indian schedule, but we'll also give you the all the information on how each quota works, and how have players qualified. So we're going to give you the in-depth information about everything about how badminton at the Olympics runs. So the badminton leg of the Olympics is going to be held from the 24th July to the 2nd of August. It's going to be at the Musashino Forest Sports Plaza. A total of 172 players, 86 male and 86 female from 49 nations will compete in 5 events, obviously, which is men's singles, women doubles, men's doubles, and mixed doubles. Tanvi, you want to walk our listeners through a slightly different Olympic qualification system, a lot of controversy revolving around it. We'll talk more about it, but in general, would you like to give a brief overview of how the qualification works?
Yeah, so I mean, the last year, and obviously with the postponement, the Olympic qualification period was thrown off a bit. But we did see, athletes, and we've been a part of this whole Olympic qualification drama where, 1 year prior to the event, it usually starts in April and ends in May, and the Olympics takes place in July. But that qualification period is super intense. Athletes from all nations across the world are trying to make it because there is a quota system. So to all our listeners out there, to qualify from a country like India, where you have the creme, you have, say, Sai Praneeth and Kidambi Srikanth ranked top 20, 25 in the world, and only one of them is going to make it to the Olympics. And on the other hand, you have someone from, say, Great Britain, who's a world number 50 or a 60, who's still making it to the Olympics. So that's the way the qualification works. There's a quota system, and China, India seem to have it quite tough. But this past year, we've seen athletes, especially our men and women singles players, really trying to make the most of the limited tournaments that were there, defend whatever points possible from their previous performances. We had Kidambi Srikanth, who was not in great form, but was, competing with Sai Praneeth to qualify for the Olympics. Had a whole host of tournaments to defend, had a whole host of points to defend. And in the end, with so many cancellations, so many tournaments and events actually not happening, he actually bore the brunt of it. And we saw the same with Saina Nehwal as well. Was struggling with form, struggling with injury, struggling with health issues, and had to, didn't really do well in the limited tournaments that took place. Eventually wanted to, compete in the last few tournaments in the Olympic qualification period, and then came this whole travel ban. So yeah, it's been a tough year, especially for the Indians. What do you think?
To just summarize it, to make it simpler, nations can enter a maximum of 2 players if they are ranked in the top 16. So that's in men's singles and women's singles. So Sai Praneeth was in the top 16, but Kidambi Srikanth wasn't. He was outside the top 16. Hence, Sai Praneeth qualified as the only Indian player in the men's singles. Similarly, with PV Sindhu, She was the highest ranked Indian player, and we didn't have Saina in the top 16. One quota plays until the roster of 32, which needs to be completed. Similarly, in doubles, if two doubles pair needs to qualify from a same nation, they have to be in the top 8 and not top 16. So it becomes a lot more tougher in the paired events, and you only see the big powerhouses have a maximum of two in a paired event, because the draw size is a lot more smaller, as only 16 pairs qualify, whereas in the men's and women's singles you've got a much bigger pool to play. Okay, since we've got the qualification out of the way.
But Shlok,
And
I had
yeah.
a question for you in terms of Satvik and Chirag's qualification. I mean, the only real contenders or competition for them on the world stage was their seniors Manu Atri and Sumit Reddy, who've been Olympians themselves. But
For a brief moment, also Arjun and I were there. For a
okay.
brief moment, we were ranked 34 or 35 in the world. This is obviously in the late 2019. We were for a brief moment right there, but still extremely far off. But yeah, continue.
No, so you did mention that in paired events it's a lot harder. So, talking specifically of the Indians who've made it to the Olympics now, we have Chirag Shetty and Satvik Rankireddy in men's doubles, and we were trying to get Ashwini and Satvik to qualify for the mixed doubles. We were trying to get Ashwini and Sikki to qualify for women's doubles. So, where did things go wrong?
Where did things go wrong? Now, that's a very interesting question. I think Satvik and Ashwini had a very up and down results so far. If you look, either they perform extremely well or they just do not perform. So they tried to really, after the 2018 World Championships where they got the quarterfinals, I expected them to be a top 15 pair. But things didn't kind of escalate over there, with Ashwini's mixed doubles form, Satvik's injury in between, and then when Satvik came back to the circuit, he was only playing men's doubles. So I think it's a mixture of everything. And when they found form, it was just a little too late. With the way they were playing, they were easily one of the top 15 pairs in the world. But that's not how it works with world badminton. Coming to Sikki and Ashwini, obviously we had representation at 2012 and 2016 with Jwala and Ashwini, but I always felt that it was going to be a task too big, because the results were not going their way quite clearly. So I wasn't really surprised that they didn't make it. They would have really surprised me had they made it. But yeah, coming to paired events, it's so much more tougher, Tanvi. The simple thing is that if you are a singles player, if you're the highest ranked player of your country, and if you're in the top 75 in the world, you are going to get an entry. But in men's doubles or mixed or women's doubles, you have to be somewhere close to the top 18 or top 19 to get an entry. So people don't really understand how difficult it is to get into a paired event in badminton. Like if you look at the Athens Olympics when Nikhil Kanitkar played, he was ranked number 33 and he still made the Olympics because he was the highest ranked Indian player. So doubles in general is a lot more tougher. I remember when our seniors Sumit Reddy and Manu Atri qualified, they just about made it borderline. In Chirag's and Satvik's case, ideally you would have wanted them to finish at a top 8 position so that they would have ideally gotten a better draw. But we will talk about that draw a little bit later.
Anyway, super excited that the contingent has reached the games village. I saw Chirag's story. He's the Instagram king, so already posing at the games village with his food, with his sushi. He seems to be in a happy space, and Coach Bo made them do a cardio session at the airport
before taking off in the flight. But yeah, I mean that was super impressive, and everything so far looks great at the games. There is some bad news though, that there are 3 South African soccer players who actually tested positive. They're the first 3 cases in the games village, but I think
and Coco
they must have been prepared for this.
Has just tested positive, so she's out of the Olympics as well.
Yeah. So I think they must have been prepared for a situation like this, and I don't think there is anything to worry about as of now. But yeah, Chirag is absolutely, even Sri Hari and Satyan have been looking at all of the Instagrams. They're looking super pumped, super excited.
Oh my god, that aquatic center looks so good.
Yeah, I mean everything looks so good, and I saw with a lot of these when the team members are getting their shuttle boxes, everybody has their photo printed on. It's a customized
Oh,
Yonex shuttle box only for the Olympics. So that are the perks you get at the Olympics, and it's just a special feeling, and it is. A little more special the fact that it is happening, right? We didn't know that we would reach to a
yeah,
stage where it's
yeah,
going to happen. It just
yeah,
feels, even though it's without the fans, I just feel so happy it's happening, and the
absolutely.
excitement is just getting there. So let's start off with the draw format for the men's and women's singles. It's pretty simple. 14 groups with 14 seeds. Player topping each group enters the round of 16. Top two seeds will receive a bye. So in the men's and women's singles section, the number one and number two seeds will play the quarterfinals directly if they come out of their group. It's a little, and then obviously the semis and the finals. You also have the bronze medal match. The format for doubles is a lot more trickier. Four groups with four seeds, top two pairs from each group proceed to the quarterfinal, and a second draw is then held after completing the first phase, and then moving on to quarters, semis, and finals, and then the bronze medal match. So this is the format which was tweaked after the 2008 Olympics, I assume. So yes, we'll start off with your event, then. We'll start off with women's singles. Number one seed is Chen Yufei from China. Number two seed is Tai Tzu Ying. And do you want to walk through Sindhu's draw?
Why not? I mean, reigning world champion and with reigning Olympic champion not participating, Carolina Marin not in the draw. I think Sindhu, everyone's talking about Sindhu's chances, but yes, a medal is definitely possible. A podium finish is definitely possible. She is, I mean, in her group stage match, I don't think she should really have much of a problem. We have up against Hong Kong's Cheong Yi and Sinia Polikarpova of Israel, which should be pretty
Changni
straightforward.
is a little tricky. Changni is a little tricky.
A little tricky,
We
yeah.
shouldn't be taking her too lightly.
Yeah, yeah.
She flies under the radar. She hasn't had the greatest of performances in the past season, but she's been a former top 16 player. And like, I mean, I don't think Sindhu is going to have a lot of issue, but we just need to be wary of her threat.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think making it to the pre-quarterfinals, the round of 16 shouldn't be much of an issue where there should be a potential matchup with Mia Blichfeld. I mean, Sindhu is heads and shoulders above Mia in terms of her performances, in terms of their win-loss record, but Mia has recently beaten Sindhu and is quite a feisty Dane to contend with. So Sindhu will have to be on her toes in that one. Having cleared that, I think we're all looking forward to that marathon quarterfinal against Akane Yamaguchi, the 4 feet 1 inch shuttler from Japan who's all over the court, extremely agile, and
She's got no bones. She's got no bones. She's got no bones at all. 11-7 head-to-head record for Sindhu against
I
Yamaguchi
would
with her
like to see what their average match time is, though.
at least over an hour for sure. And you saw that epic All England quarterfinals also where it was over an hour for sure. But yeah, but I think Mia is going to be pretty fired up if she comes through her group. Mia and Sindhu is going to be again. You would expect Sindhu to come through, but you expect Mia to come out all guns blazing. Danes are very good in situations like this. They are going to try to decode Sindhu as much as possible, but it'll all depend on how Sindhu's week starts. So the Olympics is all about that perfect week, right? You need everything to go in your favor. But some interesting matchups, Tanvi. One of the interesting matchups for me is one is Gregoria Tanjung versus Rachnog Intanon. Again, slow courts. Gregoria is also very tricky, but I do think Rachnok is going to pull off. In the top half, Chen Yufei is going to play the winner of Anse Young and Busanan. Again, Anse Young could also be like a surprise, right? She's a little too young, and I think that getting a medal is a little far-fetched right now, but He Bingjiao is playing potentially Bivin Zhang. Bivin Zhang from the United States. Again, what a story will it be for her if she comes out and no, because she's got the game, right? She's got the game. She's a Super Series winner. She on her day can beat anybody, and if she pulls off a medal, it could drastically change the way US looks at badminton and potentially start like an uprising. Any other matchups you're looking at? From the if all goes well in the potential pre-quarterfinal quarterfinal lineup.
I think the quarterfinal lineup of Chen Yufei versus Ense Young and Ratchanok versus Tai Zuying. I mean, Ratchanok again has been a world number one, All England champion, and Tai Zuying probably has no record left to break other than win an Olympic gold. So that would be an absolute delight for spectators. Probably one of the toughest matches in the quarterfinal lineup. And of course, Chen Yufei versus the young Ense Young. I think she's, asking Ense Young to podium, maybe asking a bit too much. I think she's not over 18 yet, but she has the game, has the knack to upset seeded players, and is a bit on the fearless side. So you never know. I mean, the Olympics is all about surprises, is all about having that perfect week, like you said. So mouth-watering lineups, and I really am hopeful to see PV Sindhu on that podium again, because I think she's been preparing well. From what we've seen so far, Coach Park has been putting in a lot of work with her, has been, actually curating, similar match conditions with an array of players. So he's actually picked up these young guys from Suchitra Academy with different playing styles, similar to the kind of opponent she's going to face in Tokyo, and has helped her train by simulating similar match conditions at the Gachibowli Stadium. So I'm, and we've seen what kind of a worker Sindhu is. When she's done her homework and she gets into a world event like this, you expect her to podium.
Yeah, she's a big match player. I have absolutely no doubt that Sindhu is going to absolutely turn up and absolutely kill it at the Olympics. But just the variety, Tanvi, I'm looking at in terms of variety in that potential pre-quarter final lineup. You got somebody like Tai Ying, absolutely creative. You've got the grace of Rachnok. You've got the trickery of Gregoria. You've got the workhorse or like flexibility and like going on and on with Yamaguchi and Okuhara. You've got the tactical play with Mia. You've got He Bingjiao, again, the only southpaw there who could potentially, cause an upset there. Power play of Sindhu. You've again got great court craft with Bivin Zhang. And Michelle Lee, again, we don't talk about her very often, but she'll be up again, Nozomi Okuhara, so it's a tall order for her. Anse Young, so good in her lengths and that old style traditional women's singles game. And then all eyes will be on these Chinese players, right? Chen Yufei, haven't seen her for a year. How is she going to turn up? And it's China, so they are going to be super prepared. The one thing I'm really looking forward to is the first matches of all these Chinese players and how they, I mean, China with Olympics is always right up there. But I'm like really intrigued because I haven't seen any Chinese player playing in the past 18 months. So that is going to be extremely tricky. But going in, your early prediction, somebody you think 100% is going to be on the podium, regardless of the color of the medal.
I think I would go with Nozomi Okuhara.
Yeah, you think that most likely that she's going to be standing on that podium irrespective of where she is.
I mean, home crowd support, and the Japs as a nation are extremely proud of their country, and they play for their country. That's a sentiment they all harbor. So Nozomi Okuhara definitely has been in great form, is a hard worker, and I think with home crowd support, I would put my bets on her for a podium finish.
Fair enough. I would also, mostly put her, but I also think that, I think it's Taizu's here along with, I think Sindhu and Taizu, that's going to be an extremely good potential semi-final if they come up. I would still put my money on Sindhu to, finish off on the podium. Okay, done with women's singles. Now we will move on to men's singles again. Absolute array of players everywhere. Let's start off with the Indian angle. Sai Praneeth, tricky draw. He's got Breeze. He's playing Breeze in his draw. What do you think about Sai Praneeth? Do you think that there is a chance for Sai Praneeth to do something at the Olympics? His recent form hasn't been that great, to be honest. But sorry, he's not playing Breeze. I take back my
Mark
words. He's
Kalyao.
playing Mark Kalyao. Again, tricky player from the Netherlands. He's got Misha Zilberman also. I don't think that's going to be an issue though. But what do you think about Sai Praneeth and his chances?
So yeah, I mean, at the group stage, I think as long as he gets past Mark Kalia, which will be a slightly tough match, but I don't think he should have a problem, getting to the pre-quarters. From there on, it's probably going to be, as luck would have it, he's part of the pool of death, men's singles, where we have Momota, we have Victor, we have Sai Praneeth, Enkalang, all in the same pool.
Enkalong is going to be tough to beat.
Enkalong is, yeah.
Enkalong is one of those players, extremely consistent, extremely strong, extremely steady. That's going to be a battle for Sai. From what I've seen of him training, it does look that he's lost a little bit of weight and he does look strong because there is no shortage of talent. And it's not that he hasn't performed at the biggest level, right? He's got that world's medal. And every time he gets an opportunity, more or less, Sai Praneeth converts it. In his only Super Series final, he's won that. You look at his records, even against Momota, I think the most the Momota Kento struggles kind of is maybe against Sai Praneeth and Samir Verma. They are the two players who've constantly pushed Momota there. But yeah, I mean Enkalong at pre-quarterfinals, potentially a fresh Kento Momota, which could also go against him.
Yeah.
But Kento Momota also has Kwang Hee Ho in his group, which is a tougher opponent than most of other groups. So in terms of groups, there are two matches which I'm really looking forward to. One is Lokian Yu versus Jonathan Christie. Lokian Yu from Singapore is being trained by Hendra Muliano, a Grand Prix gold winner, has played extremely well, extremely young, extremely fast. That's going to be an interesting match. And obviously, Kwang Hee Hyo and Momota. Momota, we haven't seen in a while also. I don't think like the rest of the other groups, it's pretty straightforward. And I don't think any surprises are going to be coming. Chen Long has got Pablo, but I don't think it's going to be a big issue for Chen Long also. Wang Ziwei has got the young Irish. Nat Nguyen, Tianmin isn't the same Tianmin anymore, so he's against Antonsen. Brees is against Li Zijia in Group M. Again, Brees, but I don't think Li Zijia is going to be facing issues. I think he's like primed for this Olympics too. So that is how the men's singles draw look like. Potential pre-quarter final lineups. Momota obviously gets the bye. Enkalong takes on Sai Praneeth if they both qualify. Victor Axelsen versus Wang Zuwei. Then Jonathan Christie plays Shiyuki. So that is the second quarter. In the third quarter, we've got Suneyama Kanta versus Ginting Anthony. We've got Kantafon versus Anders Antonsen. That makes the third quarter. Lizzie Jia versus Chen Long plays Chao Tian Chen in the fourth quarter, which is the most open quarter in what I see so far, because any of them could potentially reach the semifinal. Lizzie Jia, I mean Chen Long, right? You don't discard Chen Long.
He's the reigning.
anytime.
He's the defending champion. So
He's the defend, and he's gone under the radar. Tanya, I'm telling you, people nowadays forget and don't give due credit to how good Chen Long is. And trust me, I saw him. I've seen people discarding him, and every time people discard him, he comes up with an extremely special performance. I remember at the 2018 French Open, the same thing. Everybody discarded him, and he just came and absolutely bulldozed everybody. Slow court, slow conditions. Shenlong likes that. First of all, historically has played well in Japan too, and he has he's got the experience which Chao and Li Zijia don't have. He has that Olympic, experience under his belt. But I am counting on him to beat Li Zijia and potentially also beat Chao Tianchen moving into the semifinals. In all of this, I feel the third quarter is slightly misbalanced. If you look like Suneyama Kanta is not somebody I think hasn't established himself as a top five or top six. Kantafon again, he's got a world's medal, but you would expect Anders Antonsen to beat him, and we are
Yeah.
potentially looking at an Anders Antonsen Ginting Anthony quarterfinal
Quarterfinal.
in the third
Yeah.
half. Again, Victor, right? Victor also you would look at Victor possibly beating Wang Zhuwei. Jonathan Christie versus Shiyuki, reigning Asian Games gold medalist taking on the number one Chinese player in the world. So wow, man! Again, look at the variety, Tanvi. I mean, I mean, I don't
It's
know where to start and where to stop.
absolutely. I mean, it's. I think it's simplest for us to try and predict whether our Indian hope Sai Praneeth has a chance of medaling or no. I mean, with the variety here, it is going to be so hard. We've seen our Danes be in great form, probably winner runner up at all the events in the qualification period. Victor Axelsen and Anders Antonsen really taking the cake. But looking at this lineup, I think I'm at a loss. I don't know what to predict.
I don't think I can call it. Like a lot of people have asking me these questions. What do you think? Predict who's going to, possibly be at the podium. I can't give. I'm absolutely stunned by this lineup, and I don't see possibly, predicting anything here apart from maybe Momota Kento possibly reaching the podium,
Semi-final.
but at the expense of Sai Praneeth, which I do not want. I feel Sai Praneeth has it in him. He's got the game. It's all about that fitness and making sure he's at the right mindset. And I really want him to, beat Momota at Japan, which is going to be a tall task. It's going to be an uphill challenge. Again, he has had two wins against Momota Kento, but this was the pre-Momota suspension. So Momota has got two periods, right? The pre-suspension Momota and the post-suspension Momota.
Yeah.
The post-suspension Momota has barely lost to anybody. But yeah, this is absolutely phenomenal what we are going to watch, especially in the men's singles department. Any final takeaways you have from the men's singles draw?
Absolutely not. I think it's a tall order for every athlete in the draw. All of them established world champions in their own right, and they're the best from their countries. So bring it on.
Absolutely. With that, we'll take our first break. On the other side of the break, we will talk about India's dark horses, Chirag Shetty and Satvik Rankireddy, along with women's doubles and mixed doubles, which we do not have any representation, but we'll still talk about it because we are so-called pundits for today's episode. Stay tuned. You're listening to the Millennial Athlete with Tanveen Shlok. We'll be right back.
Hey, everybody, let me tell you a little bit about what happened on the IVM Podcast Network this week. On Cyrus Says, Cyrus was joined by Irfan Pabani, who is an old friend of his. They talk about the rich flavors of Indian food and Parsi food specifically. He was also joined by author and historian William Dalrymple. They discuss literature, history, and the culture of the Indian subcontinent. And let me give you a few quick things to check out. Chuck, aka Deepak Gopal Krishnan of Simplified and the Origin of Things fame, has Rohan Joshi, formerly of AIB, on his show. Also on this round is on me. Gautam Purohit of Thakur's Bhojnalaya was on. On the note, Maruk and I talks about the cabinet reshuffle. And do check out Global Victoria Tech Talks. We talk about the booming gaming and edutech industries in Australia. Do follow us on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram to keep up what's going on the network. And I'd like to finally thank our sponsors on the network this week, Cred, Ciet, and Global Victoria. Thank you so much for making this possible.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Millennial Athlete with Tanveen Shlok. I've got fellow pundit Tanvi Lad with me, discussing about potential Olympic matchups and how the draw has been. We've so far covered men's singles, women's singles. We've also covered the qualification system, how that works, and what the format is like. Let's talk about men's doubles now. This is this is my favorite event. This is the event I played, so I've got a little bias towards this. But let's talk about Chirag Satwik's draw. Okay, so we've got Kevin Sanjaya and Marcus Fernaldi Gideon, the current world number ones. We've got Li Yang and Chin Li Wang, who have been in absolutely devastating form this year. 3 titles in Thailand. We've got Ben Lane and Sean Wendy. If they wouldn't have made it, it would have probably been Chris Langridge and Marcus Ellis in that group also. And then we've got Chirag and Satvik, easily the group of death. So everybody has been voicing their opinions that this is the group of death, but it is also an opportunity, I think, in a lot of ways. One is that if they come out of this group, they won't be playing that same opponent until the final, which would be absolutely great. I would have actually liked for them to start off their match against Kevin and Gideon Fernaldi, but they'll be actually starting off against Chin Li Wang and Li Yang, which is potentially going to decide a lot for this group. What do you think about their chances at the Olympics?
I think, right, like you rightly said, if they manage to, no doubt, tall order. I think their biggest nemesis so far, even in all the tournaments in the qualification period, have been Kevin Sanjaya and Gideon Fernaldi. They have lost in the last tournament to Ben Lane and Sean Wendy as well.
That was Denmark Open. That was Satvik was just recovering from an injury. Okay, it's a loss. I agree, it's a loss. But yes, they are playing on in. They are on a decent run of results. I agree, and that is why GB has put them above Ellis and Langridge. But yeah, I mean, I do not expect them to lose to Ben Lane and Sean Wendy.
Again.
No way. I don't think that's happening. That's not going to happen. That's surely not going to happen.
Okay.
This is more of me talking out of bias towards them, and I don't think that's going to happen. I think that match against Liang and Chin Li Wang is going to be so crucial, because by the time they reach Ben Lane and Sean Wendy, the group is going to be decided, because they are playing Ben Lane and Sean Wendy right at the end.
Last.
And the group will be decided. Either it's going to be a dead rubber, or they would have already qualified.
Okay.
I think so, because the first two matches are going to be so crucial. Chin Li Wang, Liang.
And so
again,
hard.
Yeah, again, first match, coming off a great season, but again, a lot of expectations with Chin Li Wang and Liang. Have done extremely well. There is a lot of hope with the with the Taiwanese team, that they could possibly end up on the podium. And I don't remember the last time a Chinese Taipei player was on the podium for the Olympics. So I think people are expecting a lot more from them rather than Tai Tzuing also.
Yeah.
So this could also turn up against them, because when they went into Bangkok, they were this new upcoming fast pair, like everybody taken. But now everybody took them a little, not lightly, but got surprised with just the power play they had. But now everybody's looking at them. So I think this could be an opportunity for Chirag and Satvik. If they win their first match, I think they're going to go through. But again, that first match is so crucial. We know they do not have the best of records with the Minions, Fernaldi and Sanjaya 0-8 record. But again, they haven't played a lot this year. They haven't had the best of results at the premier events apart from the Asian Games, because it was in Indonesia. They've had a good track record in Japan. They've won the Japan Open 3 times in the last 3 years. But again, I would really put all of my eggs in the basket against Liang and Chin Li Wang, because if that goes, then the confidence is down, and then it really looks difficult to bounce from there. But yeah, I mean, I just when I saw the draw, I felt bad, but I also saw so much opportunity, and they feel the same. I spoke to Chirag on the phone the other day, and he's extremely optimistic about his chances. Matthias Bo is absolutely optimistic about his chances. They've prepared well. They both are in the best shapes of their lives, and it's all about mindset now. That's why Bo is with them. He's done it at the level, and I really, really hope that you know this somehow transfers into them, and they really come up, at least get off that group. If they get off the group, it's anybody's game, right? But they really need to get off that group. That is the tatparya of the men doubles. Because if you look at other groups, to be honest, group B has got Hiroiki Endo, Yuta Watanabe, Anas Karup Rasmussen, Kim Astrup, Ivan Sozanov, Vladimir Ivanov, and they've got a Nigerian pair. I mean, then you've got Group C, which has got Lee Junhui and Liu Yuchen. You've got Kyogo Sonoda and Takeshi Kamura. You've got Mark Lamfus and Marvin Siddell. You've got Philip and Ryan Chu from the United States. Group D has Hendra Setevan and Mohammad Ehsan. Uh, I don't know, they just don't get old and their peak never goes for some reason. And Hendra Setevan is still there. Aaron Chia and Suwoo Yeek, Choi Soi Kyu and Seo Sang Seo, Seo Seng Jae. Uh, Again, underrated pair. And then you've got Jason Anthony, Hoshu, and Neil Yukura also there. But yeah, easily a group of death for sure.
Yeah. But I strongly feel, I mean, if they do come through this group, chances of a medal.
Yeah.
Though they will have to, chances of a medal, because they don't have to play these pairs again till the semis.
For sure. I feel that if they get off this group, they are going to get a medal. Just the confidence of getting out of this group is going to get them a medal.
And they are, they play a lot on they ride on confidence.
Yeah, they ride on confidence. They generally get better with each match, but they'll have to be on their games. That first game against Liang and Chin Li Wang is going to be so crucial. They cannot be behind the eighth ball. They have to be aggressive because they know that Liang and Chin Li Wang are going to come out all guns blazing. And extremely aggressive pair.
Absolutely.
And they have to be on their game and they have to stand toe to toe with them to have any chance. So yeah, I mean this is a little more special for us. That's why you can see the passion with me, if Tanvi and I talking about Chirag, because we've known him since he's a kid and we really want him to get a medal. So that's why you see the passion. So but before we finish off with the Indian contingent, we would just like give all the listeners a rundown of the possible schedule. So on 25th July, Sunday 10:40 a.m. PV Sindhu will be up against Senia of Israel. On the 28th, she plays at 11 a.m. against Chang Yeni of Hong Kong. And on 24th of July, Saturday, Sai Praneeth will open up his campaign against Misha Zilberman at 1 p.m. On July 26th, he has a break. So on July 28th, Sai Praneeth then plays Mark Kaliov, which will possibly be the group decider at 6 p.m. On July 24th, Saturday, 12:20, Li Yang and Chin Li Wang will be up against Satvik Sairaj and Chirag Shetty. On July 27th at 12 p.m., Satvik and Chirag will be up against Ben Lane and Sean Wendy. But they are playing, before they don't have a break. On 26th of July, they are playing Gideon Marcus Fernaldi and Kevin Sanjaya. So that's the run-up of the schedule chart for the Indian contingent. Moving on, we'll talk a little bit about women's doubles and mixed doubles too. Then we want to start off with women's doubles or mixed doubles, since you've been pathetic in mixed doubles and for FYI, Tanvi was my first mixed doubles partner when we played the All India Junior ranking.
Did we even know what mixed doubles was at that
I
point?
was U16. I was great at it.
Tanvi, my God.
Tanvi was pathetic even then. That bad. Now she's a great singles player, but guys, she does not know how to play doubles. She can play women's doubles, but mixed doubles, no, never, cannot.
My mixed doubles is good now. You can ask Anup. I am actually playing with him as a partner. My mixed doubles has become really good. Like on the net serve and net play has become good.
अपने मुंह मियाँ मिट्ठू मत किया करो, ठीक है? मतलब okay, moving on. Okay, let's start off with mixed doubles. Obviously, the usual suspects are there. You've got Zheng Seiwei, the explosive Zheng Seiwei, and Huang Yuxiong, who have been world number one. I don't even remember when they were dislodged from world number one. There was a time when Zheng Seiwei had 2 rankings in the top 8. He was world number 1 with Huang Yuxiong, and he had a world number 6 ranking with Chen Qinchen. That guy is just
another level.
Another level.
Yeah.
So again, I rank them as the outright favorites. You've got Wang Yilu and Huang Dongping, the world number 2. So you've got 1 and 2 with China. You've got Praveen Jordan, who's going to be partnering Melati. Again, good string of results. Tricky group there at Group C. You've got Yuta Watanabe and Arisa Higashino, the current All England champions, home turf. You've got Matthias Christensen and Alexandra Boe also there in that Group C, along with Gronya Sommerhill and Simon, which shouldn't be a lot of issue for the pairs above them. But interesting group that. because anybody on those three can actually qualify, but you would count on Utah playing two events
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
actually
But
taking them.
I don't think that matters to Utah. I mean, the more events you give him, the better he performs in them, I think.
Utah is superhuman. Utah यूता कैसा बंदा है पता है? यूता भी जैसे याद है हम लोग व्हेन वी यूज्ड टू गो इन यूथ जूनियर इवेंट्स कि सब इवेंट खेल लो, पूरा पूरा एंट्री फी ना वसूल कर दो, तो यूता वातना भी उसमें बिलीव करता है कि मैं सब वसूल कर दूंगा, ऐसा मैं कुछ ऐसा एंट्री फी कुछ छोड़ूंगा नहीं, तो यूता बोला मैं सब खेल लूंगा. इफ यूता वुड हैव पॉसिबली यूता स्टार्ट ऑफ अ मेन सिंगल्स प्लेयर, यूता वो भी खेल लेता. वो ही विल गो टैग इन मोमोटा सेइंग दैट 2 points let me play, I'll come and play. So Yuta Watanabe again, I think he's the only player playing two events apart from Lawrence Smith, who's playing two events. But I mean, I have no words for him. I'll just leave it there.
I also have a lot of hope from Dechapol and Subsidy.
Oh yes, they have been so good.
They have been so good.
They are up in a decent group. They are a group with Tom Gickel and Delphine Dilroux, the French pair who've like really come up, who have really come of age in the past 8 months. Marcus Ellis and Lawrence Smith. Again, so much controversy around Marcus going on, right? You don't know what headspace Marcus is in right now. So I think in all of these groups, I think Group B is the most lenient group, if you think, and I think Dechapol is going to be the number one pair coming out of that group, and again extremely solid. Dechapol Subsidy extremely good defensively. I call Dechapol the Rolls Royce of World Badminton because he just moves so smoothly on court, and again great results, like similar like Chin Lee Wang and Li Yang. Again, superb results at Thailand. They've got that confidence. They know each other really well. Understand the big events now. And what? Yeah, I remember. Yeah, Dechapol is what 26 also. So also I think it's primed that I think they will reach the podium somehow. It does look like I don't know if they'll be one or two. I don't, but I think they can be two or three for sure. Group D is again also a little light, to be honest. Wang Yilu and Huang Dongping, Mark Langfus and Isabel Hetrich. Yes, they did win a super series at a depleted field. Tang Chun Man and Si Yung Se aren't the same pair they were a season back. And you've got Chen Pang Sung and Liu Guoling. Again, extremely good pair, but again, in their late 20s and not the same pair they were. So I think Wang Yilu and Huang Dongping, and the second spot will be a little tight, but I would expect Chen Pang and Liu Guoling with their experience to get through that. Group A is again okay. You've got Zheng Sivi and Huang Yishong, and you've got Robin Tabling and Selena Peak, and you've got CO and Che Yu Jung. You would probably expect CO and Che Yu Jung and Zheng Sivi and Huang Yishong to possibly get out of that. But yeah, it is very simple for us saying that if you have money on anybody making the podium, we are going to put our money on Zheng Sivi and Huang Yishong. Just the fact that they won everything, and thus the Olympic medal is one thing which is left. And I've seen him play. I do not want him to play. I do not want to play against him ever. Men double, mixed double, men single. मुझे खेलना ट्रिपल्स खेलना ही नहीं है मेरे को उसके साथ. नहीं खेलना मुझे. मतलब
he makes you feel like a beginner.
He makes you feel helpless, hopeless, and toothless. कि करे तो क्या करे, ऐसा वाली feeling आती है. If anybody who has a chance against them, it is probably the brilliance of Praveen Jordan, or the unbelievable stamina and retrieving ability of Yuta Watanabe. They are the only two pairs who I think have a chance. I do not think even Dechapol and Subsidy realistically have a chance against Zheng Sivi and Huang Yishong, because if you look at matchups and game styles, Zheng Sivi just loves that kind of game style. So anybody who's got a chance, Praveen Jordan can do that. We all know how good Praveen Jordan is, right? But you don't know which Praveen Jordan is going to turn up when. Are you going to get the brilliance of Praveen Jordan, or are you going to get the casual, lazy elegance of Praveen Jordan? So yeah, it's going to be super fun to watch the mixed doubles also. Final takeaways from the draw, Tanvi?
From the mixed, I think it's pretty straightforward. I think the top seeds in line for the gold medal. I would give Dechapol and Subsidy a fair chance at a podium finish, probably a bronze, and the slot for silver is up for grabs. I would like to give Lauren and Marcus a slight edge there. All depends on what mind space Marcus is in, having been dropped by GB from his men's doubles qualification. But
Yeah, that's going to
they've that's gonna
That's
get
going to be an
him.
interesting match with Tom,
Yeah.
with Tom and Delphine playing Marcus and Lauren.
Yeah.
And Tom and Delphine have had very close matches with Marcus and Lauren. Depends, a lot on how their headspace is, and you know,
But
I
third
would easily
Olympics, if
say
I'm not mistaken, Lauren and Marcus.
first Olympics.
Third
They
Olympics.
did. No, but I don't think Marcus and Lauren qualified for the 2016 Olympics.
Oh, the Adcocks
Ma-
were in
The Adcocks were playing that, and Marcus was playing men doubles
men
with
doubles.
Chris.
Okay.
Men doubles with Chris. So this is actually the first time Marcus and Lauren are playing together
Okay.
at the Olympics. And Tom Gikel, in my opinion, has been the most improved mixed doubles player in the past 12 months. I would think that that's going to be a very interesting match, but it won't like really hamper the podium, to be really honest.
Yeah.
I think if you've got four to pick, it's going to be Zheng Seve, Wang Yilu, Dechapol, and one between Praveen Jordan or Yuta Watanabe. That those are going to be the four who are going to be somewhere close to the podium.
All right, moving into our final event, which gets scant respect from pundits usually. Unfortunately, it's the women's doubles.
हम बात करेंगे लेकिन women doubles के बारे में, because we want to give importance to every event, and women doubles needs importance, because if we don't talk about it, then who will talk about it? And then we want women doubles, कहाँ है Indian pairs, कोई बात ही नहीं करता. आज हम बात करेंगे women doubles के बारे में. So listeners, if you are not interested, you still listen to it, because women's doubles is also a great event. And if you start watching it, you will actually see the tactical masterclass what women doubles players play. Again, right, the usual suspects are right there. Sayaka Hirota, Yuki Fukushima, Mayu Matsutomo, and Wakana Nagahara is there. Ten Kinchen and Jia Yifan are there. Lee Ho Si, Sheng Sing Chan, Kim So Young, Kong Gi Hon. But apart from that, Du Yu and Lee Yun Hui are also there. Apriyani, Rayu and Grazia Polly should make the top 8. But that Group D, when you look at it, Group D. Group D is an interesting group. They've got Chen Kin Chen, Jia Ifan, you've got Kim and Kong, you've got Kritika Kul and Ravinda Prongjopai from Thailand, and you've got the Stoiva sisters.
That's a tough one.
That's a tough group.
That's a tough
And you don't know who's going to come off. Again, we don't know how good Chen and Jia Ifan are playing. But in that comparison, if you look at Group B, you look at Mayu Matsutomo, then you've got Doha Hani and Hadia Hosni from Egypt. You've got Kristen Sai and Rachel Hondrich, and then you've got Cheryl Sinan and Selena Peek from the Netherlands. That's such a lighter group than Group D. To be really honest, even Group A perhaps is pretty decent actually. Sayaka Hirota, Yuki Fukushima, Apriyani and Poli, Chloe Birch and Lauren Smith, and Chao Min Kwan and Lee Mengyan from Malaysia. But that Group B oddly looks extremely light.
Yeah, I think even Group A seems quite hard with Sayaka Hirota.
So I would say I would say D, then A, C, and then B. If you go from the toughest to the lenient. C is also okay. C also has Lee Shohei and Shang Seng Chan, and you've got Du Yu and Lee Yun Hui, Maiken Frugard and Sarah Thigson and Somerville and Mapasa ended. But I think in that that these two pairs are going to qualify. But I don't know.
In terms of a podium, I think it's pretty. I mean, you have the top seeds and the reigning champions, both Japanese pairs. I would expect them to definitely podium. Sayaka Hirota, Yuki Fukushima, and Mayu Matsutomo, Wakana Nagahara definitely podium finish.
I would see. I think that in Japan, I'm expecting a 1-2, unless somebody who can spoil their party is possibly Chen Kinchin and Jia Ifan, or one of the Korean pairs.
Or the Gracia Poli Apriyani Rahayu.
No, I don't think they can spoil their party. I think it's either Chen Kincheng, Jia Jifan, or one of the Korean pairs, Lee Shohei or Shin Shang Chan or Kim So Young or Kong. I think it's going to be just two of them who can spoil the Japanese party, in my opinion. They're just too good. In terms of women doubles,
Solid.
yeah, just
Absolutely
solid, very good defense.
Yeah.
Barely get off balance. Good service return.
Yeah.
Mayu Matsutoma with her height is so good. Really smart. And Wakana Nagahara takes control of the net. Hirota and Fukushima are a little bit more a better rotational pair because both of them can play at the front and the back. So again, I do not see anybody like mounting a big pressure. But again, expectations, right? It's the Olympics. Anything can happen. Everybody's looking for that one perfect week, and that's it. All about that one perfect week. You just have to play 3 to 5 very good matches, and there you're standing with the podium and with the national anthem playing. So
a moment I think all athletes live for. Talking about it gives us the goosebumps. So yeah, super excited, nervous. I'm really looking forward to covering these events in the coming weeks.
Yes, अभी खेल तो सके नहीं, अभी तन्वी हम तो ओलंपिक कवर कर ले, कुछ तो भला कर दे, किसी का भला कर दे, कोई तो सुन रहा है. मतलब I mean, I don't get fan mails very often, but Twitter पे it was that कि श्लोक please do an Olympic preview at the TMA. चलो आपकी ये विश भी ग्रांट कर दी आज हमने, पूरी पंडितरी कर दी हमने. And we will try to record as many episodes as possible during the Olympics and try to bring all the updates, even if though the episodes are smaller. But yeah, we will try our best to cover the Olympics from TMA and IVM podcasts.
All right, so that's a wrap. If you like this podcast, do check out other interesting podcasts on the IVM network. You can listen to them on the IVM Podcast app or on ivmpodcast.com. If you want to write to us, I'm available on Instagram and Twitter by the handle PanviLad93.
And you can find me on Instagram and Twitter with the handle @SHLOKH95. Please do tag us in your tweets. We would obviously respond because we are going to be very active on Twitter for sure. Please, tweet as much as you want about the Olympics and, keep supporting them. And please avoid the hate. The athletes need only love and support and nothing else. Avoid Twitter hate and please back the athletes, even though irrespective of their result. बढ़िया बोला कि नहीं तन्वी? Does it make sense?
Absolutely. This for a change, you've played the Gyani.
यार ज्ञान तो बहुत है तन्वी, ज्ञान तो बहुत है. Until then, ciao. We shall be back very soon with another very, very special episode of the Millennial Athlete with Tanvi and Shlok. Thank you, everyone.
Eventually, you'll see the end of your childhood.
Get accustomed to womanhood.
Enjoy the experience of sisterhood.
Might get to wifehood.
Or not. Choose motherhood.
Or not. You'll learn to define your personhood.
Earn a livelihood.
Change the neighborhood.
And get rid of the falsehood that life post-academia is easy.
So join me, Ritasha.
And me, Ayushi.
On a journey from station starting point.
To station, what now?
Next station, Pudin station. And hopefully, Agla station, adulthood.
Fresh episodes out every Thursday.
Hi, I'm Zarina Poonawalla, host of the Empowering Series podcast on the IVM network. I happen to be a peak performance coach and leadership coach by profession, and I'm here to share with you productivity tools, life-altering techniques, and real-life hacks to help you achieve your maximum potential in everything you do, your relationships, professions, careers. So tune in every Monday to unleash your inner power. Be safe, be well, be empowered.